What's up, everyone? I am so awkward. I am currently in the car right now. I just wanted to kind of do like a little video where I talk to you guys real quick. This isn't really planned. Okay, so I get this question a lot of how did I get into modeling? So I recently, like I just said, I have been getting this question like a lot. People keep messaging me and saying like, hey, this looks so fun. Like, and I try my best to give a little bit of an explanation, but I feel like it would be better to just talk about it on here. So I have always wanted to get into modeling. I never thought there was like a community for that in Denver where I live. I also had really bad self-esteem when I was younger, like a younger teenager, and I just didn't think that I was cut out for it or that I could. I kind of just shoved it aside. Sorry about this. This is like hanging from my rear view mirror. I had just graduated my senior year of high school, and I had a friend of mine who was actually doing some modeling, and she was getting started, and so I kind of was like wondering how she did it. And one time she invited me to come along to one of her shoots, and so I was like, yeah, sure. So I tagged along, and it was just really cool, and I was like, this is something I could see myself doing. So she gave me some tips and stuff on how to start. So I'm just gonna share with you guys the tips that she gave me that helped me get started in all of this. So thank you, Emma, you're the best. She said basically put yourself out there. So what I mean by that is DM people, message people, contact people. I found the Denver photographer community, I guess, and I found out who was in that, who was doing some trade shoots, stuff like that. And if you guys want to know, like, if you're like, well, I don't know which photographers to message, like, contact me and I'll give you like a list of a bunch of them. I would just message them and say, literally just like, hey, I'm a huge fan of your work, which I was. Like, if you're gonna message someone, you want to work with them, obviously you like their stuff. So I was like, hey, I love your work, or I love your photos, and I'd really love to collaborate with you sometime, or I'd really love to work with you, shoot with you. You could say if you're ever doing a collab shoot, I would love to work with you. Then you wait for a reply. A lot of photographers will work with you if you know they're looking to build a portfolio. I don't want to be like only message people with your follower count, but it will help because collaborations are about benefiting each other and benefiting both parties. So if you have like a similar follower count, they're more likely to work with you because you know, you can benefit them as they'll benefit you. Some photographers will say no just because, you know, that's how they make their living and they need to actually have people pay them. And that's totally fine. Just message somebody else. Like, don't let that discourage you. Like, I've been shut down a few times in the beginning, and, you know, you just message other people because people will say yes if they like your look. And it all depends on the photographer. Like, every photographer is going to have a different look in mind. And just because one person, you know, shuts you down doesn't mean the next person will. Another big thing you can do is go to like meetup shoots. Photographers will host that. There's one that I started going to at a studio, and that's where I started getting my studio portfolio work. And it's basically just a big meetup for photographers and models of any experience. And you just shoot with each other for like 3 hours, and you get photos back. You meet so many people. I cannot stress how important connections are in this industry. If you want to get into this seriously, you need to meet people, you need to make connections, you need to network. It's huge. It's how you're gonna meet people, it's how you're gonna get opportunities. Through networking, I was able to walk in a runway show when I had zero runway experience. I mean, I literally learned the walk that day. I also just did a line book, I believe it's called, for an amazing designer who does like these crazy fairy tale ball gown dresses, and it's gonna be sent to Vogue and like these big magazines. I just did a photo shoot for like Halloween that's gonna be published in magazines. So I mean, it's all about connections. It's like you just never know when that opportunity is gonna arise. Another thing that I need to stress is you need to be professional. You need to show up on time, be ready to go. You need to be ready to work because it can be work, it can be tiring, it can take up a lot of your time. You know, if you can't go for some reason, like you need to give a heads up. You can't just not show up and not contact anybody, because word gets around. Denver is a smaller community than, say, New York, LA. For example, I had a shoot last week and I ended up going to this shoot last minute because I got a call from the photographer who said, hey, our girl didn't show up, like we haven't heard from her, can you fill in for her, like last minute. This girl never got back to them until the next day, and she was like, sorry, I had food poisoning, blah blah blah. But these girls were like, well, they didn't say anything. And so the models, the photographer, the hairstylist, and the makeup artist all pretty much agreed that they were never going to work with her again. When people ask like, oh, how's so and so, they're going to say, well, she's a no-show. Like, word gets around, and you need to make sure that you're creating a good image for yourself, because that's what's going to help you. Don't expect anything to happen overnight. I've been doing this for about a year now, which in retrospect is not a lot of time, but it has felt like a really long time. You know, I'm still not where I want to be. Like, I still definitely have a ways to go, but I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. I feel like I've worked very hard. I've put in a lot of time and a lot of effort into modeling. I mean, I've done some really cool things. I've met some amazing people. Yeah, so I guess to sum it up, it's pretty much just putting yourself out there, you know, reaching out to people and not being afraid to try new things. Like, for example, like when I only did outside stuff, like, you know, when I started doing studios or I started doing high fashion, like, it was very different for me and it was something I'd never done before. But I was like, I want to show people that I can do anything that they need me to. I want to show people that I'm open to try new things. Yeah, I mean, just own it, you know, like, whether you're a male or a female, like, you're queens and kings, and so, like, own that, like, own who you are. Just love yourself, and, like, it'll show in your photos, it'll show in your work. And I'm not saying by any means that I think I'm perfect, because I'm not. I definitely still struggle a lot with self-esteem. My boyfriend deals with it all the time. I can be a mess sometimes. I'm not saying you need to think like perfectly of yourself, or you're like, you need to, you know, not have any self-esteem issues, because that's honestly, I don't think, very realistic. But I'm just saying, like, accept yourself for who you are and do your best to love yourself, and just be like, I can do this, I can do whatever I put my mind to, and I promise you it's gonna make it so much more fun. And there's shoots where I'll get the photos back and I'm like, I hate how I look, like, and there was one shoot I got back and I was wearing a crop top and my stomach kind of folded over a little. I just started like bawling to my boyfriend, and I was like, I'm so fat, like, why didn't you tell me I was getting fat, like, blah blah. But it was just like the way that I was sitting, like the angles, and you know, it can be tough, like, seeing all these photos of yourself, and, you know, because girls especially, but you'll pick out every little flaw about you. Like, you might be like, oh my god, my eye looks too small, or my shoulders look weird, or my hair looks ugly, or blah blah. And so it can be hard, and you kind of just need to, like, accept that you might not love every photo, but they obviously love it. They're posting it, like, they love it. And so you gotta kind of be like, okay, I hate how I look in this, but if they like it, it really can't be that bad, and I'm probably just beating myself up over it. There's a lot that comes with it, and I feel like I could talk about it for a really long time. I might go on like an Instagram live sometime and talk more in depth about it, but I feel like this is a pretty good overview. It just was easier for me to make a video about it rather than just try to type it out in text, because it can be a lot. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to, like, reach out to me, message me, or, you know, just comment down below, and I will do my best to answer all your questions. I am in no means, again, a professional. I am nowhere near a professional, but I have created my opportunities, and I have worked for this, and so I do take pride in how far I've gotten myself. Like, it hasn't been totally easy, and it's been a lot of work, but I love it. It's work that I love. But yeah, if you have any more questions, just ask me. And make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and if you think I'm cool. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more of these videos that I post like once a month, because I suck at making videos. If you have any other videos that you want me to make, whether it's modeling or whatever else, just comment below and I will try to do that. That's it. That's my little spiel. Yes. And I hope that helped kind of answer that question that I know a lot of you have. And good luck if you're trying to do this. Like, good luck. You got this. You slay. You're a queen, king. Well, I'll see you guys in the next video, whatever it is that I make. Bye.